Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you are all doing well. Thought I would sit down today and film a get ready with me because I haven't done one in ages. I know I haven't done a video in ages. I'm vlogging this week and I also have a vlog from a few weeks ago. It took me literally like a month to edit it because I've not been doing well. I talked a little bit about that in the vlog, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more because I feel like since starting therapy all I want to do is like talk. Speaking to a camera, basically to myself, makes it feel easier. It's weird to think that I'm like sharing things on the internet to literally anyone who wants to watch this and anyone who wants to read my newsletter or whatever, but I can't seem to share the things with like my friends and family. I hate when my necklaces aren't on show. I feel like I'm like naked. I feel awkward now that I've been like, we're gonna have a serious talk. So I don't want to, I'm sitting here talking about jewellery for about 10 minutes. I have mentioned a couple of times on my Instagram and in my newsletter. I mentioned it in this week's vlog. I've actually just mentioned it on the internet in general. I've talked about it on TikTok. That I have been having a not so great time recently. And the thing is, like, I'm pretty positive like most of the time. I have a good sense of like when I feel bad I can like pull myself out of it. I struggled a lot whenever I was younger, so I feel like now I have like the tools that I need to like get myself out of these hard times. But recently I can't seem to pull myself out of it, and it's really frustrating because I hate not being happy. Like, it's, I don't know, like I know from before, like when I've had hard times before, and you know it might be like a week of like me feeling terrible, and then like I'll do like my usual like practices, like, you know, going for my walks every day, doing my meditation, getting back into yoga, reading my books. I can pull myself out of it, and then I'll wake up one morning and I'm fine again. So I feel like my mind keeps tricking me into thinking that I'm better because I'll have one good day, but then I'm back the next day after that. I'm back feeling like not great about myself. Not even about myself, just about, I don't even know what it is. I can't even explain it. I don't know why I feel like this. I just don't feel good. So yeah, I have not been having a good time, and it's been like a month. And at first I was like, okay, because you know I'm like a spiritual person, at first I was like, okay, it's Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is making me feel not good, because obviously we know Mercury retrograde like messes with like communication, can like make us face like our kind of like shadow self, or like not really shadow self, but yeah, things that we're not dealing with. It can make us, it can bring them up, and it can bring like past kind of traumas to the forefront. So I was like, okay, it's Mercury retrograde, like it's fine, it'll be over soon. So then Mercury retrograde ended, and then I still didn't feel good. So I was like, oh, okay, well the full moon's coming, so it's obviously the full moon in Aries, like really powerful. And I'm an Aries moon, so obviously it's going to affect me very deeply. I did my moon ritual, and the next day I felt great. I was like, okay, well, it's over, it's great, it's over. And then I fell back into feeling not good again, and then I got my period. My period was like 2 weeks late or something. Like, it's always late, so it's fine, but it was 2 weeks late, and I got my period, and I was like, okay, well, obviously it was because of my period. Like, it's so silly. Like, how did I not realize it was because of my period? Period came and went, and I still didn't feel good. So now I'm like, there's nothing, there's no explanation for why I feel like this. It must be me. Like, I've used all the excuses. It must be me. I don't even know how to describe it because I just don't really know what it is. I wouldn't say I'm unhappy. I'm just, I feel like I'm not fulfilled. Like, I feel like I'm actually just not fulfilled. My YouTube and my newsletter are my favorite like platforms to work on. but I struggle with YouTube sometimes. My forehead looks really weird today. Did I put something on it last night? It nearly looks like it's like, I don't know, I'm having like an allergic reaction or something. Anyway, when I'm having a hard time, I really struggle to like make YouTube videos because one of my main things is like self-worth. Like I struggle with myself, and that wasn't always a thing for me. Like I used to always be such like a confident person, like, and I just didn't care what anyone thought of me. Not in a like I don't give a shit like, but like in a way that like I was so comfortable within myself that like other people's thoughts, whether they were good or bad, just didn't affect me. In the past like year, I have really struggled with self-worth and like questioning myself. Like I question myself so much, so it's like I kind of lost my train of thought there. I don't know what I was talking about. I was talking about YouTube. Why did I get onto this? Making like YouTube videos and stuff. I'm like, oh, like, is this like, am I interested enough, blah blah blah, and like I don't know, I just really struggle. I've been using lipstick as blush. It's actually really pretty. I've just been questioning myself a lot recently, and it's been not fun. So it's almost like it's like affecting my ability to create content, and it just is hard when I'm in that space to come on YouTube and like, you know, because like when like for the past month I basically haven't done anything. Like I do things on the weekend sometimes, like with, you know, my mom or my sister or whatever, but like, why am I gonna cry? Yuck. Anyway, no, we'll just like suck them back in. They can come out another time. For the past like month, okay, give me a sec. This literally feels like therapy. Like, I know I'm not saying anything, but like, because I don't want to, because if I say the things, I have to like acknowledge them, and if I keep them in here, I'm like, oh, they're just thoughts, like they're not real, they're just thoughts. I literally sound insane. So for like the past month, yeah, I haven't done anything, and that's not sad. Like that's like, I don't mind that. Like I'm happy. I did my newsletter on like loneliness in your 20s, and I feel like sometimes when I write my newsletters, why am I freaking crying? Like I can't be bothered. Sometimes when I write my newsletters and I'm like, cool, like that's how I was feeling, you know, like the loneliness in your 20s. I feel like I was like, okay, like I'm accepting this, like I'm accepting that I'm lonely sometimes, and that's okay, and like I'm accepting that like I don't really have any friends, and I'm 24, and like I would love to have loads of friends. Like I'm like, you know, I'm like an extrovert, so like it's hard for me to like not like share my energy with other people, and I know I'm sharing it online, but it's just different. Like, and I feel like I find it hard to sometimes be myself online, because I feel like I try so hard to help people. That's what I mean when I say like that the newsletters, they're like healing or whatever, because it's like I write them, and as I'm writing them, it's like I'm not really thinking about what I'm writing, but then after, it's like that's when I start to think about it, and that's when I start to kind of like process things, and sometimes that's not very nice. To be honest, girls, I don't really know what I'm saying in this video, and I know it's like you're probably not gonna get anything from this, I'm sorry. Like, I just feel like I wanted to like share with yous and also talk about it to help myself. I literally hate being sad. I hate it so much, and maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should just like let myself be sad and let myself like have this horrible little like slump, and then I can come out of it. But I just don't, like, I hate not being productive, and I really like the thought of just like sitting at home being sad is just like not nice for me. So instead of like being sad and feeling my feelings, I have to like get up and like push it aside, like literally push it aside, and like make a TikTok or like take some pictures for Instagram. Like I know it's like so stupid, like, and I shouldn't do that, and I should just like allow myself to be sad. The only time that I actually like acknowledge that maybe I'm not doing great is when I'm in therapy, and then once therapy's over, like I don't really think about it anymore. Just keep ignoring it and keep like, you know, having that sort of like, it's almost like an underlying, I keep saying sadness, it's not really a sadness, it's just like an underlying feeling of like, I don't really know what it is, like whatever. I know I should like face it, but I don't think I can, because I'm on my own, you know, like I feel like facing all that wouldn't be pleasant because I can't, like I would be doing it on my own. I don't want to be crying like on bloody YouTube, like, but anyway. Oh, what the hell, look at that, there must have been black on my freaking, oh my god, that's so annoying. I honestly don't know what the purpose of this video is. I've been trying really hard, you know, I've been doing everything I can to get out of it, but I feel like this is like, since like this has been the longest like period of feeling like this since I was like a teenager. I feel like it's the hardest right now because I have been doing the work. Like I've been going to therapy, I've been doing my sessions with Karen, I've been like reading my books. Like I feel like I'm like sometimes, and I mentioned this in therapy a few weeks ago, that like sometimes I'm like over analyzing my thoughts to a point that like I can't almost just be like, do you know, it doesn't feel good, but like I am strong enough, I can get up and I can go for my walk, like, and I'm so grateful that like I am able to do that. But it's just like, it's like a constant underlying feeling of like whatever, I don't even know what the feeling is, like I said, but like it's just exhausting and like it's just not nice feeling. And like sometimes I think maybe I should just lie in bed and cry for like a week. You know, I know you should not just like ignore things and like hope that they go away, because they don't. But I don't really fancy facing everything because like I said, feels like I'm doing it on my own. And like I'm lucky, like I have my sister, like, but I don't like talking about things, like I don't want to. It's like a vicious cycle, you know. So I have this thing right at the moment. I'm sorry, this video is so all over the place, but anyway, I have this thing at the moment where I'm almost like I'm super lonely. God, I'm super lonely, like I am, but I also am craving to be on my own. But I think it's that like I am almost like, it's not that I am lonely, it's that like I am like almost isolating myself from people. I think I did talk about it in my newsletter, where I have what's the word, like pushed people away in the past. I have no like strong connections or bonds with people because I wasn't vulnerable. If I could go back, I don't really have many regrets in my life. One thing I do regret is not learning to be, not being comfortable with being vulnerable with people, because like I can't seem to do it now, and it's really annoying. And I know that it has affected my relationships in the past, as in like my romantic relationships, but also it has left me with no friends at the age of 24, 25, almost 25. I feel like this whole me feeling like this and like, you know, questioning everything is due to a number of things. I feel like I am so aware of, I don't want to say issues, because like they're not issues, they're more like things that are holding me back, but I'm just gonna call them issues. So I feel like it's because I'm so aware of mainly my issues with vulnerability and not being able to trust people. I'm so aware of them things now that it's almost like a bad thing. like I'm like, oh, like why can't I just be vulnerable with people? Like, oh, what is, like it's not like I'm like what's wrong with me, it's like that I'm like I want to do it. I want to be vulnerable with people. I want to, you know, trust people. I want to like be myself around people, but I can't because I'm scared. I listened to a really interesting podcast and I'm going to share it in this week's newsletter because it was literally exactly how I have felt and have been feeling. I'll link it below as well, and I think I might have talked about it in my last vlog. I don't know if this is going to go up first or if the vlog is going to go up first. Yeah, so I listened to a really interesting podcast. It was with Taggy from Made in Chelsea. She has like a really good podcast, like it's really, really good. It is about kind of like all different things. Like she talks about the moon and astrology. I think it's called Saturn Returns. She just talks about like a lot of kind of like self-improvement, self-development type of things. So the podcast I just listened to, it was about self-trust and vulnerability. So she was talking to this girl, Estee, and Estee really put into words like how I feel about vulnerability. And like when I was on my walk, like, and she said these words, and like it made me just feel like, oh my god, like that, like hearing someone else say it made me feel like really weird. It's exactly how I feel about vulnerability. And she basically said it's like she doesn't want to open up to people, or she doesn't want to be vulnerable with people, because it's almost like a part of her is like ripped open or torn apart, I think she said, and like the pieces are just kind of like out there in the world. Like she doesn't like the thought of someone having that kind of like power over her, which is like kind of how I feel. My goal is to, every time I look at the time up here, I have to stop my camera because it only films for like a certain amount of time, but every time I look up at the little like amount of time I've been recording, it's like 111. So I'm like, okay, I'm aligned. So yeah, my first step in trying to be like a vulnerable queen is this, like opening up to yous. I know everyone struggles to some extent but with being vulnerable, but like for the most part I think a lot of people have like people that they can turn to. And like I'm not saying I don't have people I can turn to, because I can, but like it's, you know, the people even that like I trust most in the world, like my sister, still can't open up to them. So like that's not a good thing. Like yeah, that's my goal for the rest of the year. I know it's like literally November in like 2 days. But I have 2 months to get my shit together, start being vulnerable, maybe not have my shit together is the point of this, because I'm just like sick of it. I'm honestly just sick of it. I'm sick of like not having like proper connections, not letting people in. Like I'm sick of just like, you know, and like I know it affects my relationships, and I know it has affected relationships, and if I don't face this and if I don't get over this issue, I won't ever be able to have like a proper connection with anyone. So, and like I'm a romantic at heart, like I am, like I love romance, I love like love. So I'm like, and I'm aware that like if I don't practice being vulnerable and like practice this and like get over it and like be able to like open up to others and like let people in and like let a little bit of myself out, then I won't be able to have like a like super strong love connection. So yeah, that is my thoughts. That is where I'm at. That is what I wanted to share. I'm afraid to edit this because like, oh. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share like how I was feeling, because yous are like my friends. Like yous are like, you know, after I put out the like newsletter about loneliness in your 20s, like I had some like really nice conversations with some of yous, and like yous are like my friends. So, you know, I just wanted to share with yous where I'm at, and hopefully like someone can relate to this. So I don't know if you've enjoyed this video. It was like really random and just like my thoughts pouring out of my mouth. This was really for me. This video isn't really for you, it's for me. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Several times? Mm-hmm. And each time I thought I'd found my Prince Charming.